Welcome to Journey to Misery, where I explain complicated comics, characters and concepts to the patient and perplexed hell in our heart. My name is Kieran Shiak, and this week we are doing... Shazam.
Nothing
about Shazam. Before we get into that, I want to talk about the image gallery.
Yes.
Because we brought up a few episodes ago, and we asked people, do you like it?
We got some feedback.
Yeah, because I was worried that people will be in their car, on a bike, on the way to work, and they can't access the image gallery. Feedback we got was a lot of people saying they do listen to the show on their way to work or wherever, but they like the image gallery because they like hearing your reactions to stuff.
Yeah, they like to be able to see what I can, look at.
Yeah, and they also go back and look at it when they get home. So we're giving double the value. You enjoy the podcast, then you go check out the image gallery.
There's a follow-up.
Yeah, we're in your brain all day. Okay, so Shazam.
Oh god.
You know nothing about Shazam at all.
All I know about Shazam is that his costume looks sort of like the Flash.
Yeah.
But that's all I know. I didn't know he was even a thing.
Okay. You sat next to me while I read Multiversity number 4.
When was that?
Thunderworld.
Oh right, yeah, and you cried.
That splash where you open the page and it's all of the trains. It's beautiful. Nathan Fairbairn is a colouring genius. Okay, so we're going to dive straight into the history of Shazam.
Okay.
So in the Golden Age, comics were huge. Superman was massive, Batman was massive. National Comics, which went on to become DC, they were hugely popular. Timely, going to become Marvel, they were hugely popular. There were loads more at the time. It's kind of like, we watch wrestling.
Yes.
And now it's just WWE and kind of TNA.
Yeah, but before it was loads of things and people were super into it.
Yeah, and even now there are loads of other ones, but it was more of a level playing field back then.
Yeah.
It was more of a same. There's a lot of parallels in comics and wrestling in kind of the evolution of the corporations. There was a company called Fawcett Comics who wanted to kind of capture that superhero buzz.
Okay, so they made their own superheroes.
Yeah. A writer named Bill Parker created a team of 6 superheroes, with each of them having the power of a mythological figure.
That's pretty cool.
But Fawcett's executive director said, no, instead, combine all those powers into one dude.
What? And that's Shazam.
I'm getting there. So, Parker created Captain Thunder.
Captain Thunder?
Captain Thunder.
Hence Thunderworld.
Yes.
Okay.
Alongside an artist named Charles Clarence Beck.
Right.
C.C. Beck. Whose distinct cartoon style would go on to define the character.
Do you still do it now?
No, this is the 40s.
Oh right, okay. That makes sense.
But people still draw
in his
Shazam
style?
like C.C. Beck.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
So they put together an issue featuring Captain Thunder, but then they found out that Captain Thunder was trademarked already.
By who?
I'm not sure, but just someone. So they had to change his name. It was suggested that they change his name to Captain Marvelous.
Captain Marvelous.
Captain Marvelous.
Okay.
Which is quickly shortened
to Captain Marvel.
To Captain Marvel.
Yeah!
And that's who we'll be talking about today.
And it looks like the Flash costume.
It does look like the Flash costume.
Except not in a circle.
Yeah, he's got that little cape. I love the little short, there's the cape when it comes to his elbow.
Oh, it's a little cape.
It's a little
That's
cape.
Cute.
He's got big gold boots. You can't see him in that picture.
That's cute.
And I should mention in this episode, I should mention it right off the bat, we're going to be diving in between comic stories and stories about creators, legal battles, different not promotions, I'm wrestling now, different comic companies. There's a lot of interesting stuff outside of the in-story stuff with Captain Marvel. So Captain Marvel debuted in Whiz Comics number 2.
Whiz Comics.
Whiz Comics. And he's a little kid, about 10, 12 years old, called Billy Batson.
Billy Batson.
Billy Batson.
Okay.
He's a homeless orphan boy. He's a newsboy, like a extra, read all about it.
So he's got a job.
Yeah, he's got a job, but he's homeless. He sleeps on the street.
Oh.
He heads down a strange subway tunnel and onto a subway car with no driver. Which when we turned that page and it was like that big, colourful, fantastical subway car.
Yes.
That. He winds up in an underground tunnel and he walks past statues depicting the 7 deadly enemies of man.
Okay.
Based on the 7 deadly sins, but I don't think they could call them sins. I don't think they could do that at the time.
Yeah.
So at the time, rather than 7 deadly sins, they were pride, envy, greed, hatred, selfishness, laziness, and injustice.
Injustice.
And he heads into the Rock of Eternity.
The Rock of Eternity.
which is the lair of the wizard Shazam.
Oh, okay. So the wizard Shazam.
Mm-hmm.
Not the guy.
Well,
Yet.
the wizard is looking for a boy pure of heart, or a person pure of heart, to become his champion.
His champion. Alright.
He grants Billy the power to become Captain Marvel whenever he says Shazam,
That's amazing.
and a bolt of lightning comes down, and he changes from a 12-year-old boy to Captain Marvel.
Okay.
And they're two different people.
That explains the costume.
Yeah.
Okay.
Billy Batson and Captain Marvel, two different people.
It's not just him putting on a costume, like,
No.
he completely transforms.
He completely transforms into Captain Marvel. Kind of like, do you know, we'll get into this when we talk about Thor. Actually, I don't think you know about that. But Thor has a similar deal in the comics.
Oh, right, okay.
But I'm getting ahead of myself there. So each letter of Shazam stands for a specific mythological figure and their powers.
Oh, right, so it's like an acronym and not
Yeah.
a word.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he has the wisdom of Solomon, the strength of Hercules, the stamina of Atlas, the power of Zeus, the courage of Achilles, and the speed of Mercury.
I was thinking, what could Z be?
Speaking the word again turns him back into Billy Batson.
Okay, so it was like a...
It's like it's a magic
in,
word.
out.
It's a magic
Yeah.
word. And what's great about Captain Marvel is he's wish fulfillment.
Oh, okay.
Little boys read it, and it's a story about a little boy that becomes Superman, basically.
Oh, that's really cute.
So it was massively popular, and we'll get into his popularity in just a second. In his first adventure, he fights a man who will become his long-term enemy, a guy called Dr. Savannah.
Ah, he's really cool.
So it's like a science-y magic thing.
Yeah, like, he looks fairly harmless.
Yeah, but he's like very Lex Luthor-ish, but like cartoonishly so.
Yeah.
A lot of Captain Marvel, it's very wholesome, it's very good. Even the bad guys are like very just wholesome, and it's just nice, it's good.
Are they just bad people?
No, they're just like villains. Like, not like evil. You know, we're talking about that
Yeah,
comic.
just like bad people.
Yeah.
Like slightly bad eggs.
Yeah. And he fights Dr. Savannah in his first adventure. He becomes an on-air reporter for a radio station.
Oh,
And
cute.
he's Captain Marvel now. He gets a job, he gets a flat, he's fine. So, obviously, in this episode, I'm going to miss so much. Because this is a character that's just about as old as Superman.
There's a lot to cover.
Yeah, so I apologise if I miss anything out. There's going to be some Captain Marvel fans just wringing their hands because I missed a specific thing out.
Just cover the key points, we'll be fine.
Yeah, so some of his other villains include Mr. Atom,
Okay. He's cool.
Ibac.
I'm back.
Ibac is, it's not spelled like that. It's IBAC.
Okay.
And they're-
like, Ibac.
Yeah, they're all initials. That's an acronym. I can't remember what exactly for. I know the B is Borgia, the A is Attila, and the C is Caligula.
Right, okay.
It's like history's greatest deviants. I can't remember what the I is off the
That's
top of my head.
amazing.
He also faces Captain Nazi.
Oh my god. What?
When I put this together, I'm always like, okay, this is a part where I'll pause because I know I need a reaction here.
Jesus Christ. And this was like in the 40s.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Comics were a massive propaganda tool.
Yeah, like I can imagine, but good god.
There's comic covers, and this is a big like black spot in the history of comics, where Superman's saying like stuff like "slap a Jap."
Fuck. So like, I guess because like they would have been on like newsstands and things.
Yeah.
Like people would have seen that. That would have been as good as putting it on a newspaper, effectively. I assume.
And it was a lot of the comics encouraged people to buy like war bonds to help the war effort. And the very first issue of Captain America has Captain America punch out Hitler.
Wow. Okay. That's a dark area.
Yeah, it gets tricky, especially some of the like seeing Superman just like slapping this like really cartoonish like yellow peril.
Oh Jesus.
It's
I guess it had its points. Like,
Yeah.
They were doing it for, I assume, good reasons.
yeah, like we can't excuse it.
No, you can't excuse it, but they had their reasons for it, I assume.
Another Captain Marvel villain who only ever shows up in one issue is a guy named Black Adam.
Black Adam.
Yeah, he's going to become very important.
Why have I heard of him?
Oh, I know why you've heard of him.
Why have I heard of
We'll
Black
talk
Adam?
about that right at the end of the episode.
Oh god.
That's going to be like the last thing we talk about.
Oh god.
Well, Black Adam is only ever in one issue, really.
Okay.
But he becomes important later. He's a former champion of Shazam. He's Shazam's champion from like ancient Egypt
Right.
that went rogue. The biggest Captain Marvel villain of the Golden Age is probably a guy named Mr. Mind.
Mr. Mind. Does he control you with his mind?
He's got telepathic powers, and he puts together a team called the Monster Society of Evil,
Okay.
which is just every Captain Marvel villain. It's like 30 dudes. And that story lasts for 25 issues.
That's a lot.
Over 2 years, which is unheard of in the 40s and 50s.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's unheard of. So this is Mr. Mind.
It's a caterpillar. That's amazing. I was expecting like Mojo Jojo with like a massive brain helmet or whatever he's got, like massive evil guy, and he's a caterpillar with a smiley face.
And a little radio so he can talk.
Oh, that's so cute.
Can you read what he's saying in that speech bubble?
Captain Marvel broke up my old organisation and had me electrocuted, but I'm back, and I'm more evil than before. And some laughing words. Oh, I love him! Oh, I love him!
So, and this is the Monster Society of Evil.
Oh my god, is he wearing glasses?
So you've got like Mr. Atom there, Eyeback, Dr. Savannah, Captain Nazi, Black Adam's over there.
Who's the purple guy?
Which purple guy?
The purple guy.
That
That guy.
That guy, that is, looks like it says Jeepers.
I love Jeepers.
There's a little key down the side of it. All of this is in the image gallery.
This is incredible.
There's also the Marvel family. You wouldn't have to fight these villains alone. There's a big team and support system. The first members of the Marvel family are called the Lieutenant Marvels.
Are these like his backup?
Kind of. He gets proper sidekicks shortly afterwards.
Oh, sweet.
But the Lieutenant Marvels are 3 dudes, also named Billy Batson, who realise that when they all say Shazam at the same time, they get Captain Marvel powers.
So are they just like... Did they just scout out everyone called Billy Batson and then work out who was the one that could do the magic?
I've not read the specific issue. I've just read the wiki on that.
That's amazing.
Later, there's a boy named Freddie Freeman,
Okay.
who's out fishing in the lake with his grandfather, where up above, like unbeknownst to them, Captain Marvel and Captain Nazi are duking it out. Captain Marvel like smacks Captain Nazi and he goes flying into the lake. And Captain Marvel doesn't know there's people fishing in the lake.
Right.
Captain Nazi kills the grandfather and like
Oh, Jesus.
smacks Freddie off the boat with an oar.
Oh, poor Freddy.
Captain Marvel rushes him to hospital, but he learns that he's not going to make it through the night. So he grants him some of his power,
Oh, God. He's gonna die.
turning Freddie Freeman into Captain Marvel Jr.
Oh, Freddy!
And Captain Marvel Jr. is actually my favourite of the Marvels
Why?
because he's like, after the accident, he's still disabled.
Oh, that's cute. I like it.
He's a disabled superhero from the 40s.
That's amazing.
And I always
I'm into
preferred
that.
him to Captain Marvel because Captain Marvel was so irresponsible as to not think about civilian damage.
Yeah.
And I still love Captain Marvel, but when I found out about that, I kind of balked at it. So, an interesting note about Captain Marvel Jr., he had a really big fan. One of the most famous people of all time was a huge Captain Marvel Jr. fan.
Okay.
Elvis Presley.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, he was into this.
You know Elvis Presley's jumpsuits
Yeah.
with the little half cape?
Yeah.
It's inspired by Captain Marvel Jr.
No, that's so cool. Oh, that's great.
In later, more modern comics, they have Captain Marvel Jr. talk about how he thinks Elvis is the greatest modern day philosopher.
Oh, that's so cute. Oh, that's amazing.
And not long after this, Captain Marvel and Captain Marvel Jr. meet a girl named Mary Bromfield,
Okay.
who turns out to be Billy's long lost sister.
Right.
She finds out that when she says Shazam, she becomes Mary Marvel.
Ah, she's one too. Oh, that's a good outfit.
Yeah.
That's a strong outfit.
And Mary Marvel is kind of the innocent character.
She's great.
In an industry where women are overly sexualized and male power fantasies and all of the terrible stuff. Like, in an industry where Greg Land continues to get work.
Ugh.
Mary Marvel is innocent. She is sweet. She is
wearing white.
Yes, exactly.
And she's covered.
Yeah.
Which women aren't usually.
Yeah. There's also Uncle Dudley Marvel.
Oh.
Who
it's an old man in a suit.
He doesn't have powers. He's their guardian.
Oh, he's so cute. And he just runs around in his little outfit. Oh, that's amazing.
Okay, there's also Mr. Talkie Tawny.
Who's that? Oh my god, he's a tiger. Is he drinking a martini?
Mr. Talkie Tawny is an anthropomorphic tiger who is basically Frasier.
Oh god, that's the best thing ever. And he's in a white suit.
Most traditionally he wears like a green plaid suit.
Oh, that's even better.
And occasionally he has a jetpack.
What? Oh my god. It just gets better.
There's also Hoppy the Marvel Bunny. Hoppy the Marvel Bunny isn't actually part of the Marvel family. It's just at the time.
Is he like a spin-off sort of?
Kind of a spin-off, yeah. Funny Animal comics were super popular. So he's basically like an alternate universe. Before alternate universes were a thing.
He's like the cute version.
Yeah. Eventually, as universes were folded in on each other and the crisis happened, Hoppy would become a character. Whether it's like a little nod of Mary Marvel going, "This is my bunny named Hoppy," or actually Hoppy the Marvel Bunny being in a comic.
That's cute.
So to step outside of the story for a while, in the mid-40s, Captain Marvel was the most popular superhero in the world.
What? Even bigger than like Superman?
Yeah. He sold 1.3 million issues bi-weekly.
Christ. That's a lot.
DC Comics at the time, National Comics, saw Captain Marvel as a rip-off of Superman and took them to court.
Of course they did.
The judge ruled that Captain Marvel was an infringement, but due to some problems with the Superman copyright in the first place, that National actually defaulted on the copyright because they didn't file it correctly.
Oh, right, okay, so that shot themselves in the foot a bit.
Yeah. National appealed, and the second judge ruled that they hadn't defaulted on the Superman copyright. Captain Marvel wasn't an infringement, but specific aspects of the character could be seen as infringement.
Yeah.
And he recommended a retrial, but instead of going through a third trial, Fawcett settled out of court.
Right, okay.
After World War II, the popularity of comics went way downhill just across the board, and Captain Marvel struggled to hold on to its fan base.
Aww.
Eventually, Fawcett just ceased comics publication. They paid National $400,000 in damages, and the last Golden Age appearance of Captain Marvel was in 1954.
Oh, then they just stopped doing it.
They stopped doing it.
But they sold so many.
But they stopped selling that many.
Oh, that's really sad. Damn it, Superman.
So Captain Marvel wasn't just popular in America, it was a huge hit around the world, especially here in England.
Oh, people really liked it here.
Yeah. While the demand dried up in America, British kids still really watched Captain Marvel stories. So the people who were kind of licensing the comics and publishing them in England drafted in a writer named Mick Anglo.
Okay.
Who created Marvel Man.
Who's Marvel Man?
That's Marvel Man.
Okay.
And Marvel Man is a very thinly veiled version of Captain Marvel. He utters the word Komota.
Which means...
It's atomic backwards, but with a K.
Oh god.
To become Marvel Man.
Amazing.
And he's aided by sidekicks Young Marvel Man and Kid Marvel Man.
Right.
And Marvel Man has its place in comics history on its own because the stories were whimsical and fun. But it was revived in the 80s by Alan Moore.
Mm-hmm.
You know who Alan Moore is?
Yes.
What do you know about Alan Moore?
Not a lot, I just recognise his name.
He did Watchmen.
That's the guy, yeah.
He did Watchmen, he did V for Vendetta.
Yeah.
He did From Hell.
He did. I always recognise people's names, but I can never remember what they did.
So, he revived Marvel Man, and it's one of the darkest superhero comics there's ever been. I'm not going to get into what happens in the story, but...
The children die.
There's a pregnancy scene.
No!
There's a brutal pregnancy, childbirth scene.
Don't show me it. I'm already scared of pregnancy.
Basically, the gist of it is Marvel Man, Kid Marvel Man, and Young Marvel Man are in a terrifying accident where no one sees them for like 20 years. Turns out Marvel Man got amnesia from it and forgot he was Marvel Man.
Right.
But he remembers, and he remembers everything. He becomes Marvel Man again. He finds Kid Marvel Man, who never said the magic word again.
Oh.
No, he never changed back.
So it was always him.
So he stayed as Kid Marvel Man, and grew into like adulthood, and went completely evil. He's one of the most evil characters in comics history, Kid Marvel Man.
Oh no.
But we're not really talking about that, really. What we're talking about is when it came to be republished in the US, Marvel Comics objected to the use of the word Marvel. So he was changed to Miracle Man.
Okay.
Which is what he's best known as.
Miracle Man.
Miracle Man. Neil Gaiman took over after Alan Moore.
Uh-huh.
And he wrote a great run on his own. Well, not on his own. He was with Mark Buckingham. One thing I want to do is I want to try and mention artists as much as possible, because a lot of people who talk about comics talk about them in terms of Alan Moore's this, when it was Alan Moore and Gary Leach who did Marvel Man.
Yeah, because like you don't do all of it by yourself.
Yeah, well, it's a problem within like comics criticisms, and it's something that I do and something that I want to address. So Neil Gaiman and Mark Buckingham took over Marvel Man, Miracle Man, and Eclipse Comics, who were publishing it at the time, they were purchased by Todd McFarlane.
Okay. Who
is one of the guys involved who started up Image Comics. And from then on, Miracle Man was just held up in courts because so many people claimed they owned the rights to him. Right. Neil Gaiman said that Michelangelo gave him the rights. Todd McFarlane said he owned the rights because he bought Eclipse Comics. It was a whole thing. In 2009, Marvel Comics shocked the world when they announced at New York Comic Con they'd purchased the rights to Miracle Man.
Oh.
And they cut through all the red tape. They got all the lawyers on it. They untied everything, and they bought it. And he'd be returned into comics as Marvel Man.
Okay.
But it would take another 4 years for the reprints to start coming out. They only came out last year.
Oh, that's a long time.
Yeah, because there was still so much to untie. And eventually it came back as Miracle Man.
Okay.
Because it's more recognisable.
Yeah.
Alan Moore, who's long since cut ties with Marvel and DC, is only credited as the original writer.
Oh, that's, does it mean?
And he gives all of his royalty money to the family of Michelangelo.
Oh.
Back to Captain Marvel. Because I feel like you can't really talk about the history of Captain Marvel without at least going, well, this is the reaction to Captain Marvel stop being publishing, and then that's the whole thing. It's like a little, when you have a river and there's a little bit that goes off to the side. Tributary? Oh, I'll show you later.
Estuary?
No, it begins with a T. So upon the superhero revival in the 60s with the Silver Age and the Flash and Green Lantern, Superman comes back, Batman comes back, Fawcett couldn't publish any more Captain Marvel stories because when they stopped, part of the settlement with DC included an agreement to never publish Captain Marvel again.
Oh.
Instead, DC licensed Captain Marvel from Fawcett.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But in the 10 years since he'd been out of comics, Marvel created their own Captain Marvel.
Yes, they did.
And now they had the copyright to comics called Captain Marvel.
So DC had to choose a different thing.
Yeah, so the character could still be called Captain Marvel, but comics and merchandise couldn't.
Couldn't be under Captain Marvel.
Yeah, and a good example of this is, you know, The Incredibles?
Yes.
You know, it's Mr. Incredible, it's Dash, it's Violet, and it's Elastigirl.
Yeah.
There's a DC Comics character called Elastigirl.
Okay.
So she can be called Elastigirl in the video games, in the film, in like Incredibles comics. But if you buy Incredibles toys, she's called Mrs. Incredible.
Is she?
Yeah.
She's not a Mrs. though.
She's married to him.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I thought you meant the kid.
No.
That's Violet.
Yeah.
So she's called Mrs. Incredible. That sucks.
Due to copyright. So from then on, he's still called Captain Marvel. Anything with him in it's called Shazam, or it's Shazam, the world's mightiest mortal, or the power of Shazam, or stuff like that.
Right.
So that leads to a lot of confusion over decades of casual fans who think he's called Shazam.
Oh yeah, I thought it was called Shazam.
Yeah. But I kind of like misled you in that a little bit.
Yeah, you didn't tell me.
Well, I also didn't want you to think that we were doing Captain Marvel.
Yeah, because...
Who we're doing next week.
Yeah, other Captain Marvels below on the list.
Yeah. CC Beck comes back for 10 issues, but he leaves due to creative differences with DC editorial.
Right. Always happens.
At the time, Captain Marvel, the Marvel family, all the Fawcett characters, they were separate from DC Universe in Earth S.
Earth S.
Earth S.
Right.
But he never became as popular as he was.
Oh, that's sad.
So he went from having his own comic to backup strips in Superman comics to the occasional one-shot.
back up. Oh, in Superman comics.
The first issue that Captain Marvel's in DC Comic is the cover is Superman introducing him to the DC
Oh,
fans,
it's a kick in the teeth.
and it's basically the Rock holding Roman Reigns' hand up.
Oh, fuck. Oh, because there was like a massive thing about how he was like a rip off of Superman.
Yeah,
And now they're like, haha.
kind of. Yeah,
Like, oh, that sucks.
we talked about the Crisis on Infinite Earths.
We have.
Earth S was one of the 5 that were integrated into the new Earth, and after the Crisis, Captain Marvel made his way into the DC universe proper.
Who's writing there?
Yeah, he joins the Justice League International, which is a team fondly remembered for being like a real good mix of light-hearted comedy and heart-wrenching action.
Okay.
It doesn't have many of the big-name superheroes. Batman's on it, but it's Captain Marvel, it's Booster Gold, Blue Beetle, Fire, Ice. It's the third Green Lantern you think of when you say Green Lantern.
So it's like no one.
It's kind of like the second stringers in many ways. It's very good. Very
no
good
one's
comic.
super important.
Yeah.
Well,
No one that if you go up to someone on the street and be like, have you heard of the superhero Ice?
Yeah, like when I say super important, I don't mean to discredit them. It's just not the guys you think of when you say name a superhero.
Yeah. So, DC do a miniseries called Shazam: The New Beginning, which is kind of his DC Comics origin, and it's not very well received. But the one thing that sticks around from it is that Billy Batson is Captain Marvel.
Right.
So when he turns into Captain Marvel, he's still a 12-year-old boy.
So they've kept that.
Yeah. A few years after this, DC buy the rights permanently from Fawcett.
Okay. So they've got them. They can do whatever they want.
Yeah, they own Captain Marvel now. And I'm not sure if this is after 0 Hour or before. I believe it's after, but I could be wrong. He gets a new origin.
Right.
No new origin. It's very similar to the original book, which kind of expanded.
Okay.
It's a big hardcover. I think it was hardcover. It's a big, original graphic novel called The Power of Shazam, fully painted. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. So in the book, it's revealed that Billy and Mary's parents were on an archaeological dig sponsored by Dr. Savannah.
Ah, right.
With a man named Theo Adam.
Who's that?
They stumble upon this tomb with the markings of Shazam on it.
Okay.
They decipher it. They say, it looks like it says Shazam, and it opens up for them, and they go in.
Oh, the magic word!
Yeah. Adam becomes overcome with greed, and he kills Billy's father.
Oh, Jesus.
Stabs him in the back. And what's really cool is Billy's father looks like C.C. Beck Captain Marvel,
Ah, that's nice.
and he's called Charles Clarence.
That's nice. That's nice.
He's Charles Clarence Batson. So he kills Billy's father. He stabs him in the back, but the mother gets away with half of this scarab amulet.
Yeah.
She hides one of the artifacts in her children's toy tiger.
The toy tiger.
Yeah, but she's found by Adam and she's murdered as well. This time Mary comes home with the nanny. The nanny discovers what Adam's done. He kills the nanny as well.
Jesus.
And then he goes to Mary.
It's just magic.
No. I was trying to mislead you into thinking that she gets killed. She doesn't.
Why would you do that?
Because I like your reaction. That's the whole point of the show.
I don't like it when people get murdered.
He takes her away, but Billy wasn't on the trip.
Okay.
So, shortly after this, Billy has to go live with his uncle Ebenezer.
Ebenezer. Okay.
But Ebenezer only really wants Charles's money.
He's a Scrooge.
Yeah. So Billy gets forced out onto the street selling newspapers and having to kind of hide to school. He's still going to school, and he doesn't want them to find out that he's been forced onto the street.
Yeah.
He's approached by a strange man who leads him onto a subway station and into a strange train. Which, looking back,
A bit shifty.
yeah. Billy heads to the Rock of Eternity, and he meets the wizard who is searching for a successor. He tells him to speak his name, and Billy becomes Captain Marvel, retaining his personality.
Okay.
This pisses Billy off.
Obviously.
He's like, what? How am I, 30?
He's like, this is not what I asked for.
He lashes out, confused about what's become of him, and demands to be changed back. He's calmed down by the mysterious stranger, who refuses to reveal who he is.
He's a wizard?
No, the mysterious stranger that took him onto the train.
Oh, right.
The wizard tells him that by uttering Shazam again, he can return to being regular Billy. And he does. As he does, a rock falls and just crushes the wizard.
Yeah.
And kills him.
So he's a successor now?
Yeah. I don't know why, because the wizard, he shows back up as a ghost, immediately.
He's a wizard, he can do that.
I don't see, I think it's in the original story where like he gets killed by a rock falling on him, but no one ever really like the wizard's just always around.
He's just a character, whether he's dead or not.
Yeah, I think at some point people just forgot that he dies in that story, and like they just have Captain Marvel go visit him again at the Rock. I don't know. I could be wrong.
As a ghost.
No, just there as a person.
Oh, sorry. Like they make him alive again.
Yeah, like people. If anyone wants to clarify this to me, please do. We appreciate the corrections.
That's amazing.
journeytomisery@gmail.com.
Yeah.
So Savannah is approached by the Egyptian authorities over the location of Theo Adam because they're like, this guy killed a bunch of Americans on Egyptian
Just
soil.
murdered everyone.
So I'm like, I don't know where he is. They go away. Savannah has like a secret staircase to find Theo Adam, just hiding out.
Just chilling, having a good time.
And Savannah knows he's there. Savannah's harbouring him. The Egyptian authorities go on Wiz Radio.
That's incredible.
And one thing I want to mention is this is all set in Fawcett City.
Where's that?
It's a fictional city. You know, like DC has fictional cities like like Central City and Keystone City.
Yeah.
And Starling City and Arrow, which is Star City in the comics. Fawcett City is the city that Captain Marvel stories take place in the DC universe, based on Fawcett Comics.
Yeah.
The Egyptian authorities go on Wiz Radio to talk about the hunt for Theo Adam, and if anyone sees him, to let people know. So Savannah's like, we can't have this bad press, because I'm having the World's Fair here. Like, I'm putting on the World's Fair in Fawcett City. So he sends Theo Adam to blow up the radio station,
Christ.
which is where Billy's sleeping outside of.
Oh no.
Billy confronts Theo Adam, and Adam's just like, get out of there, kid. Throws him off the building.
Oh.
On his way down, he transforms into Shazam and heads back up to face Theo Adam.
Does he fly?
He flies.
He flies. Is that what the cape's for?
Well, not for.
To aid?
Yeah, it just looks cool.
I guess it's sort of a representation he can fly.
Yeah, he's got basic Superman powers.
Okay.
And Theo Adam sees Captain Marvel and he's like, he thinks it's CC Batson.
But it's not.
Looks just like Billy's dad.
Oh.
Captain Marvel gets the bomb. He throws it away. He chases down and catches Adam's accomplices, but Adam himself gets away. Savannah, furious of Adam's failure, confronts him. And Adam talks about how he recognised Captain Marvel and he's holding some of the treasure from the tomb. And he's talking about what was going on and how they got into the tomb. He says the name Shazam while holding on to the half of the scarab. And he transforms into Black Adam.
Ooh. Is this where Black Adam comes into play?
Yeah. Black Adam immediately goes in search of the rest of the treasure because his soul is in the scarab.
Who is Black Adam?
Black Adam's the former champion of Shazam from Egyptian times.
Yeah, why have I heard of him?
Oh, that. Yeah, we're going to get to it.
Okay.
I promise you we're going to get to it.
We better get to it.
It's the second to last thing in my notes.
Okay.
I promise you. So he busts out looking for the second part of the scarab, which is in the tiger toy, which Billy now has.
Yes.
He realises that Billy, the kid he threw off the roof, must be Captain Marvel, and he seeks him out and he finds the rest of the amulet in like Billy's hidey hole where he's been sleeping.
Oh.
Black Adam with the amulet is accosted by police and he attacks the officer.
Yeah.
He's confronted by Captain Marvel and the two fight across the city.
Oh,
And Captain Marvel wins by reverting Black Adam to human form. And then the wizard shows up and takes away his speech so he can't say Shazam and turn back into Black Adam.
Wow.
He begs Shazam to take his powers away and lets the mysterious man know, like, dude, I wouldn't have followed you down into that subway if I didn't know you were the ghost of my dad.
Yeah.
So the wizard tells Billy that if he keeps his powers, he can use them to find his missing sister, who is still alive.
Oh, he's not found it yet?
No. He pledges to continue on as Captain Marvel, and as he flies away, Savannah's like ruined and homeless now, with a massive grudge against Captain Marvel.
Sounds about right.
So the Power of Shazam spun off into its own ongoing series, and saw the DC introduction of characters like Mary Marvel, Freddie Freeman, Talkie Tawny, Captain Nazi, Shazam's daughter Blaze, who's an evil demon thing.
Sounds amazing.
It goes on for like 40 issues. It's very good. I do not have time to talk about it in this episode.
Or ever.
Also in the mid-90s, there's a mini-series called Kingdom Come,
Okay.
which is hugely influential. I'm not a massive fan of it, but you can't discount how influential it is. It takes place like 20 years in the future of the DC universe, where Superman hung up his cape after Lois Lane was killed. And in that, it's this big kind of tense thing.
Is it like Life After Superman?
Yeah, but it was about Superman coming back for the first time.
Oh, right.
And in the meantime, all these like, new superheroes have cropped up who are like just really violent and haphazard, and
I need Superman to save them.
yeah. Captain Marvel is in it. He's brainwashed by Lex Luthor. He's one of the most powerful beings on the Earth, and his mere presence unnerves everyone around him. There's this big fight at the end of it where Captain Marvel attacks Superman by saying Shazam, but like holding Superman in front of him. Because Superman's weak to magic.
Yeah.
Well, Superman's not weak to... This is something that annoys me. Superman isn't weak to magic. He's just not invulnerable to it.
Yeah.
Whereas Kryptonite weakens him. Superman is as weak to magic as anyone else would be.
Yeah. It just makes him more human.
Yeah. It's just something that he doesn't have a defense against. It's not something that he's especially weak to. It's semantics. But eventually Captain Marvel sacrifices himself in act of redemption and becomes the symbol of this new world order. Happy ending. Kingdom Come, it's very influential. I'll probably have you read it at some point.
Okay.
I'm not a massive fan of it. It is by Mark Waid.
Okay.
And we're fans of Mark Waid on this show.
We are.
I'm not a massive fan of it. Okay, so let's talk about Black Adam a bit.
Oh god.
Because I said, as I was doing my research, I said on Twitter, and I stand by this, DC Comics started going downhill when they decided that Black Adam was more interesting than Captain Marvel.
Okay, I didn't see that.
Because Captain Marvel is wholesome, he's good, he's a hero, he just wants to do the right thing. Black Adam is an anti-hero, he's tortured, he's gritty, he's dark. There are good Black Adam stories, but I just feel like he got more of the spotlight in the late 90s, more the mid 2000s and onward. So let's talk about Black Adam a bit, because as much as we talk about Captain Marvel, I'm talking about the Shazam family in this episode. So he's Shazam's champion in ancient Egypt.
Yeah.
And when he speaks the name of Shazam, he gains powers from the Egyptian gods Shu, Heru, Amon, Zehuti, Aton, and Mehen.
Okay.
His work as Egypt's hero drew him away from his family in Kandak,
Right.
which is a fictional country. That's where he's from, Kandak. And his family were murdered by the maniacal Acton.
Oh, he's scary. Does he have a gold arm?
He was turned into that by the Orb of Ra,
Okay.
which is the same thing that turned Rex Mason into Metamorpho.
Oh, okay, so it's like a powerful orb.
Yeah, it's kind of a cool thing of... Metamorpho's a character from like the 70s, maybe the 60s, I could be wrong about that. And this story where it reveals more of Black Adam's origin, it has loads of cool nods to the DC, like the ancient aspects of the DC universe.
Yeah.
Rex Mason gets turned into Metamorpho by this ancient thing, the Orb of Ra. It stands to reason that other people were as well.
Yeah. Is this arm melting?
Yeah, he's Metamorpho, the Element Man.
Oh, right. I'm going to see him for Halloween. That's a good costume.
There is a female Metamorpho as well.
Sweet.
So he stays noble and true, and he serves alongside Naboo, who is he's Dr. Fate. He's ancient Dr. Fate.
Okay.
You know, the guy with the helmet.
Yes.
And they serve under Prince Khufu.
Alright.
Prince Khufu is one of the many, many reincarnations of this chap.
Is he a Thundercat? Who is he? Is he Hawkman? No! I thought that was the... No, it's a Hawk. I thought it was the Thundercats logo. I apologise.
That's why Hawkman's so complicated, because there are many multiple lives. He is a character that is based in reincarnation.
He's holding like a... What are they called?
A mace.
That's it.
Yeah, that's his weapon.
Oh gosh.
Like how Thor has a hammer, Hawkman has a mace.
Hawkman.
Like Chris Sims says, Hawkman should be the most simple character in the world. He has wings and he hits dudes with a... He has wings, he wears no shirt, and he hits dudes with a mace. He should be the most simple character.
He's just so, like, wrapped in mystery for me. Like, Hawkman. He's elusive.
Adam returns to Kandak. After his family's killed, he returns to Kandak and he overthrows the government there. The wizard, seeing Adam's gone rogue, traps Adam's soul and power in the scarab.
No! So he can't do anything?
Yeah, and his centuries-old withered corpse dies.
Oh, shit.
That's how Black Adam overtakes Theo Adam in the story.
Yeah.
After the events of Power of Shazam, Black Adam eventually rids himself of Theo Adam's influence.
Yeah.
And he does a face turn.
Oh, cool.
He joins the Justice Society of America.
Yes.
But he clashes over them because he wants to be more murdery. And he thinks they should be more murdery. And they're not cool with that.
Because they're superheroes.
Mm-hmm.
The superheroes aren't supposed to be murdery.
Yeah. So he goes off and he decides to take over modern day Kandak.
Oh, okay, cool.
So he overthrows
enough.
the current regime in modern day Kandak.
He just goes and messes with things.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Well, it's a coup. It's a super coup. In the lead up to Infinite Crisis, do you remember Infinite Crisis?
I do.
The Spectre, we've talked about the Spectre a little bit.
I think so. I can't remember much about him.
Wrath of God.
Yes. Okay.
Falls
Yes.
under the influence of Eclipso.
That's amazing.
Eclipso is a diamond
Yes.
who corrupts people.
Sweet.
And that woman there specifically, that's a whole other kettle of fish. Remember Identity Crisis?
Uh-huh.
The rape story?
Unfortunately.
Yeah, we're going to do Identity Crisis at some point, I'm sorry. But, yeah, she's Eclipso because of Identity Crisis. She's not the first Eclipso. The first Eclipso is a man. But she is Jean Loring,
Okay.
who is Ray Palmer, the Atom's ex-wife.
Okay.
She becomes Eclipso. She gets the Spectre under her spell. And she's got like a beef with Shazam.
Why?
The wizard Shazam.
Why?
It's just ancient dude beef.
Fair enough. 'Cause
Well, not dude
Shazam-
beef, ancient dude beef. Beef between ancient dudes.
Yeah.
Not ancient beef about dudes.
I still have that.
So Shazam drafts in Captain Marvel to protect the Rock of Eternity against the Spectre's attacks. And Captain Marvel actually holds off the Spectre for a little bit, which, as powerful as Captain Marvel is, that's really impressive.
Yeah, like, she seems pretty...
Yeah, the Spectre is the wrath of God.
Yeah, she seems, like,
No,
intense.
not Eclipso, the Spectre.
Alright. They both seem pretty
Yeah.
intense.
The Spectre makes it past him, though, and makes it to the Rock, and he absorbs all of Shazam's magic out of him and kills him for good.
Oh, no.
And the Rock of Eternity explodes into a million pieces.
Oh, Christ.
And Billy Batson, Freddie Freeman, Mary Marvel, all depowered.
Forever?
Well, it's comics, nothing's forever.
Oh, okay. Where did the wizard live?
In the Rock of Eternity.
Yeah, now that's gone.
Yeah.
Where does he live?
The Wizard's dead.
Maybe it's not though, is he?
No, but no, the Spectre just killed him.
Yeah, but you said he wasn't ever dead. Like, he came back.
No, that other story. That was a different story.
Oh, okay.
No, this time, that's why I said for good.
Oh, right. I thought, like, he came... It was a constant that he just kept coming back.
No.
Oh, right.
It's a big deal that he's just killed Shazam, the Wizard.
For good.
Yeah.
He's gone. He's dead.
So there's a magical team called Shadow Pact,
That's pretty cool.
who they reform the Rock of Eternity, but it needs a wizard. Billy takes over the role under the name Marvel,
Okay.
and that's what he looks like.
That is a pose.
And Freddie Freeman takes over as the new champion
Of the world.
of the power of Shazam. But he has to earn the right to do it.
Oh, so Champion's like a name?
No, it's like a title.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Black Widow was.
Well, no, like champion isn't what like Captain Marvel is.
Oh, right, okay.
Like Black Adam was the champion,
No, more.
but he has to earn it by competing in the Trials of Shazam.
Oh,
In
God.
the Trials of Shazam Maxi
Like
series.
the Shazam Olympics.
Well, more like the Trials of Hercules.
Oh, right,
You
okay.
know, the labours of Hercules.
Yeah.
So he has to prove himself to each of the deities figures in the acronym.
That he can, like, do everything.
So when he proves himself to them, they grant him their power. So he
Yeah.
gets more powerful as the series goes on. He does it and he becomes Shazam.
Like, legit, straight up Shazam.
Yeah. So Billy Batson is the wizard. He is called Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
Freddie Freeman is the champion. He is called Shazam.
Okay.
This is basically so that they can start calling him Shazam because everyone thinks he's called Shazam because of the licensing issue.
So they just made it easier for themselves, basically.
Yeah. So Black Adam is ruling over Kandak, and he's allowing the kind of super mafia intergang to run their operations out of Kandak. As a thank you, they're like, here are some concubines,
Okay.
and Black Adam's like, that's not cool. Kills intergang
Don't want those.
and falls in love with one of them,
Oh.
a lady named Adriana Tormes.
Okay.
They get married, and he grants her some of his power, like
That's nice.
like Captain Marvel can do,
Yeah.
and she becomes Isis.
Sweet.
They go and rescue her little brother, who is held captive by Intergang, and he's injured. He's going to die, very similar to Freddy. So
But
he
he
becomes
doesn't?
Osiris.
Osiris, that's Egyptian.
hmm
That's cool.
So they start becoming kind of beloved by the world.
Yeah.
They're doing good deeds. Osiris adopts a shy talking crocodile with a bit of a stutter named Sobek.
A shy talking crocodile with a bit of a stutter.
Yeah, it's very like Saturday morning cartoon. People start calling him the Black Marvel family. He's wearing a tracksuit.
I was going to say, is he wearing a tracksuit? Why is he wearing a tracksuit?
Turns out that there's because this is in a series called 52. Let's talk about 52 a little bit.
Not the new 52.
No, the 52 issue weekly series.
Oh, right, okay.
52. That reintroduced the multiverse.
Yes.
That's got many stories in it. So there's a Black Adam story that runs through the 52 issues. There's a Question story that runs through 52 issues. There's Animal Man. There's Elongated Man.
Animal Man.
There's also a story about mad scientists who have all been kidnapped and forced to work on this one island together called Oolong Island.
That sounds cool.
And they manufacture the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse.
The 4 horsemen.
Yeah. Diamonds are forever, baby. And so are the horsemen.
Oh, God.
Turns out that Sobek is actually not a sleeper agent, but he is the Horseman Famine, and he murders Osiris.
Oh, no, but he was a shy, stuttering crocodile. No, wrong.
So he murders Osiris and he unleashes famine on Kandak. And everyone in Kandak dies. Isis dies.
Everyone dies because of Tracksuit Crocodile.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Black Adam, not happy.
Obviously, because a previously, down-dressed crocodile killed everyone.
Yeah. Isis's dying words are vengeance against those who brought tragedy against Kandak.
So they want to kill the crocodile.
Yeah. Well, they want to kill the crocodile, they want to kill the horseman, they want to kill the scientists on Oolong Island, they want to kill whoever was backing Oolong Island.
Everyone on the dark side.
Yeah. So Adam blazes a path of destruction. He kills Sobek, he heads to the nation of Bealia.
Bealia?
Yeah. Like, it sounds wrong, but that is how it's... it sounds wrong when it comes out, but I'm pronouncing it phonetically. He heads to the nation of Bealia, who are harbouring the Horsemen of Death. He kills the Horsemen of Death, and he kills Bealia.
Oh. Every
Every man, woman, and child
in Bealia.
in the nation of Bealia is murdered.
So everyone is obliterated.
Yeah, it takes place over the 4-issue miniseries World War III, which came out the same day as 52 number 50.
Right.
Which means you had to buy 5 comics on that one day to get... It was
whole story.
It was a 4-issue miniseries that came out on one day.
Fuck. That's a lot.
Yeah.
So you have to buy 5 comics.
Yeah.
Just to read one story.
Yeah.
That's intense.
So it heads to China, who were bankrolling Oolong Island. The Chinese government get really hissy when the American superheroes want to interfere. They send their own superheroes, the Great 10. They get kind of fucked up. Captain Marvel petitions the gods of it, and this is Marvel, like Billy Batson,
Yeah.
the wizard. Petitions the gods of ancient Egypt to take Black Adam's powers away, but they're like, no, he's doing this in our name, and have you read Egyptian myth? We're pretty cool with this.
Yeah, maybe don't bother him.
So he seeks the aid of the mystical community like Shadow Pact and Zatanna, and he works with Zatanna to defeat Black Adam once and for all.
Right.
They fight each other. Marvel depowers him by saying Shazam and calling the lightning down to depower him, and then with Zatanna's magic, they change the word.
Oh, so it's not Shazam anymore?
It's not Shazam for Black Adam.
Oh, okay. That's fine if it's just for Black Adam.
Yeah. So he escapes, he flees back to Kandak, and the last thing you see of him in 52 is him just wandering the streets, just going, Aardvark, Apple.
It's just learning words that begin with A.
Well, just starting with A.
Oh, okay.
That's the implication. That he's going to go through every word, every word he can think of to try and find his new word to turn back into Black Adam.
Going to go through every single word he can think of.
Also in 52, another side story is about Booster Gold.
Oh my god.
Booster Gold is a guy from the 25th century who came back to our time to be a popular superhero because he's a failed football star in his own time.
Yeah, he looks like the type.
Yeah. And Booster Gold he's referred to as the greatest hero you've never heard of because everyone expects him to be a fuck up, but he's actually really good at his job, but it's just no one can know.
Oh, I feel bad for him.
His robot Skeets, who is his best friend, his confidant, who has all the historical data.
Oh, that's sad.
Skeets starts going evil, just goes full-blown evil, Terminator style.
Oh no.
Turns out that inside Skeets is Mr. Mind,
He's back.
who is using Skeets as a cocoon to transform into his final stage.
His butterfly self. Oh, holy shit. Okay, that's not what I thought it would be. Oh god, that's horrible.
And he wants to eat the multiverse.
He wants to eat everything. It's horrible.
Okay.
Oh, get rid of
All those
it.
eyes.
Oh.
So Booster Gold fights Mr. Mind, traps him back in the shell of Skeets, throws him like a football
Yeah.
through the time
Get
stream,
rid of that shit.
and as he goes backwards through time, he demetamorphosizes back into the worm,
He was so cute as a little caterpillar.
and he's captured by Dr. Savannah, making it like a full circle.
Yeah.
So he's just going to keep going round like that.
Good. It's disgusting. Kill it.
So after this, Black Adam, who's unrecognisable and gone and human. He's not Black Adam.
Just human.
He's Teth Adam, which is his real name.
Teth.
He steals the remains of his bride
Ew.
and makes the treacherous journey to a Lazarus pit. Have you covered a Lazarus pit? Have you heard of a Lazarus pit?
I've heard of Lazarus, but I've not heard of Lazarus Pit.
Lazarus pit is, have you heard of Ra's al Ghul?
Mm-mm.
Have you seen Batman Begins?
I have!
You know Liam Neeson?
Yes!
It's Ra's al Ghul. And he was in Arrow as well. He was in that episode of Arrow. You know the episode of Arrow where, did you watch it, where Oliver got stabbed?
Oh yeah, no, my bad. My
Yeah.
bad.
Ra's al Ghul is a functionally immortal person because he has these things called Lazarus pits all over the world, which basically kind of fountain of youth sort of thing.
Oh yeah. Okay.
But they can also bring people back from the dead. He tries to revive her, but it doesn't work. He makes his way to the United States to the Tower of Fate, which is Dr. Fate's
Headquarters.
where he finds a guy named Felix Faust, who is an evil wizard.
He's got a good outfit.
He was trapped in the Tower of Fate in the Elongated Man story in 52,
Right.
which is my personal favourite story of 52, of the many, many stories that are in there. It's a really cool detective kind of misdirection story. But anyway,
Cool.
Felix Faust is trapped in there. And he says, if you find the Amulet of Isis, you can bring her back, but you need to be Black Adam to do that. I can restore your powers to you, but you'll be siphoning them from the residual magical energy of your wife's bones.
Oh, okay.
So every time you turn into Black Adam, you'll be damaging the bones.
Yeah, and he's just got them.
Yeah. So he goes all over the world. He has to change a few times, which makes the bones a bit wonky. He discovers his new secret word is chocolate egg cream,
Chocolate egg cream.
which I think that's what Americans call cream eggs, like Cadbury cream egg. But it's because Billy Batson's a 12-year-old boy.
Yeah, like I guess like cream eggs would be his jam, really.
Yeah. So he becomes Black Adam properly for good.
That's amazing.
He flies to the Tower of Fate to find Felix Faust, and he's like, I'm Black Adam again. I've got the Amulet of Isis. Bring my wife back. And Felix Faust tries to do it, but the bones are just too wonky.
Oh, he's messed him up by like going through time,
Yeah. Not through time.
like travelling and stuff.
No, every time he transformed into Black Adam.
Oh right, yeah.
Because like he'd have to transform out of, like, he couldn't travel around as Black Adam because he's a fugitive for killing an entire country. So he goes to the remains of the Kandak embassy in Gotham to have a bit of a sulk.
He's gone to Gotham.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because Gotham has a Kandak embassy which has since been abandoned.
Oh right.
Felix Faust, though, pulling a bit of a fib.
Oh.
Isis
tricky.
is alive and under his power.
Oh, not very nice.
So since the wizard was killed, Mary Marvel, was in a fight when that happened, and she lost her power. She fell straight into the ocean, been in a coma ever since.
Christ.
She wakes up and she can't find Billy, she can't find Freddy. She says Shazam, nothing happens.
But does she not know she lost her powers?
Yeah, she knows she lost her power, she just doesn't know why.
She knows now.
She's got no idea why, because she
Yeah.
can't find Billy or Freddy.
And because she's been in a coma.
Yeah. She makes her way to the embassy in Gotham to find Adam, and he bestows all of his power on her,
Yeah.
and just leaves a broken, normal person.
Oh.
Mary turns into Mary Marvel, but because it's the Black Adam powers, she's got a sexy new costume for the 21st century.
Fuck me. Of course she does. She's no longer innocent.
And as I wrote in my notes, because nerds need something to jack off over,
Yeah.
and slowly the power starts to corrupt her. She's taken in by Eclipso, who acts as a mentor, and Eclipso is secretly training her to be a concubine for Darkseid.
Okay.
And Marvel's like, don't really want to bone Darkseid, have you seen him?
Is this Darkseid as in Darkseid?
Yeah. So she beats up Eclipso because at this point Eclipso's kind of trained her too well.
Yeah.
She realises what's going on and she gives up the powers. But she comes home and Darkseid's just there chilling on a couch. Because Darkseid does a lot of chilling on couches.
He's weird.
There's a Tumblr called darksideSittingOnCouches.tumblr.com.
I'm gonna go on that.
And she gets brought under the influence of his main advisor, a guy called Desard. She shows back up like that.
Okay, that's cool.
But it's just show how corrupted she is. She's got like a big boob window and like kind of like proto Miley Cyrus. But that's not Mary Marvel, that is Desard in Mary Marvel's body.
Yeah.
And that's in Final Crisis. She has a fight with Supergirl and she's rescued by Freddy, who calls down the lightning and transforms back to Mary Batson.
Yes. Restored.
Talkie Tawny is also in Final Crisis.
Yeah.
Because Darkseid's son Calibac is a Tiger Man as well.
Oh, sweet.
And he has a Tiger Man army. Talkie Tawny defeats Calibac in like combat.
Oh, Tiger Combat.
And then he's surrounded by all this Tiger Man army. And he's like, alright, come on, I'll take you all. And all the Tiger Man army just like drop down to one knee.
Oh, that's amazing.
I fucking love Final Crisis.
King of the
So much.
Tigers.
So Black Adam is back to being Black Adam once Mary Marvel gave up the powers. Whilst Isis was under Faust's control, she left a trail of flowers behind her so that Adam could find her.
That's cute.
He rescues her from Faust and snaps her out of it, and in an act of revenge, as far as I can tell, the art is a bit vague, she tears his dick off.
Okay. Fair enough. But
It's like he says something like, are you going to rip out my throat for this? And she says, no, I want something else. And you see a hand. And it's not on panel, but the implication is that she rips his dick off.
Jesus Christ.
This is a Jeff Johns comic.
Okay. That's a lot.
They crash into the Rock of Eternity and they try and trap Billy in Adam's scarab.
Yeah.
But instead he gets cast out and depowered
Oh shit.
with Black Adam and Isis running the show
Oh
in the Rock of Eternity.
Oh no.
The powered Billy teams up with the JSA as Mary joins up with Black Adam, and the JSA with Billy find their way to the Rock of Eternity to confront Black Adam. Evil Mary, during this fight, she threatens the life of Billy's on-again, off-again girlfriend, Stargirl.
Stargirl?
Yeah.
Is in the McFly song?
I don't know.
No, you don't know McFly.
No.
You're too old.
I'm too old.
Too old for McFly.
And she says, if you don't join us, I'm going to kill your sort of girlfriend. So Billy gets corrupted by the Black Marvel Shazam as well.
Yeah.
And then it goes Black Adam Jr. I don't think that's not in the text. Like, that's not in the comic, but it's the best way I can describe it.
Yeah, everyone just sort of gets Junior or Kid.
Yeah. Isis is still just like really angry that she was murdered.
Yeah.
And she just goes off the deep end and starts murdering just everyone. To the point that Black Adam was like, that's a good point. That's a very good point. When we started this, it was wholesome. It was fun.
Yeah, it was wholesome and superheroes don't kill people.
But yeah,
Now everyone's dead.
and even Black Adam was like, this is a bit too much. The Flash, and this is Jay Garrick.
Oh, cool.
Because the JSA is all the old superheroes, mostly.
The original.
It's the JSA, the modern JSA of the pre-52, the pre-New 52, is the oldest generation training the youngest generation.
Oh, right, okay.
Which is why you have characters like the original Green Lantern, the original Flash, and then you have characters like Stargirl.
Like the new kids.
Yeah. So the Flash is taken to the Rock of Finality.
Right, which is...
It never gets resolved.
It never gets resolved. It's just put out there.
Well, we'll get to why it's never resolved in a minute. He gets taken to the Rock of Finality by Billy's ghost father to resurrect the wizard.
Ah, the wizard's coming back.
Black Adam tries to stop Isis' rampage, but the Black Marvel kids, Billy and Mary, side with stepmom. Black Adam gives up his powers to resurrect the wizard, who is not happy.
I'm not surprised.
Remember that episode of Total Divas?
Which one?
where Cameron looks after Naomi's house.
Oh God!
It's like that. Shazam comes home and he's like, "What did you do while I was out?
You destroyed.
How badly did you
everything."
fuck this up?" So he takes everyone's powers away and he turns Adam and Isis into stone.
Good God.
Okay, so do you remember the Blackest Night,
Yes.
the zombie story,
Yes.
where at the end of it, 12 people come back for good?
Yeah.
Aquaman comes back for good, Martian Manhunter comes back for good, Hawkman, Hawkgirl, Hawk and Dove. Oh yeah, there's a character called Hawk, who has nothing to do with Hawkman.
This world is so confusing.
One of the characters that came back in that was Osiris,
Okay.
and he steals Freddy's powers to bring Isis back to life.
Yeah.
So at this point, we've got like a family of Black Marvels, but no Marvel family.
Yeah.
And he teams up with Dr. Savannah to find a way to resurrect Black Adam and kill the wizard. And then Flashpoint happens,
Yeah.
so there's no resolution.
Oh.
There's just no resolution.
It just gets cut off.
Yeah. So in Flashpoint, and we covered this in the Flashpoint episode a little bit, Captain Marvel becomes Captain Thunder,
Yes.
who is the original idea for Captain Thunder of the 6 kids who turn into one hero. They also have a pet tiger, Tolkitoni,
Yes.
who isn't anthropomorphic, but when the 6 kids turn into Captain Thunder, the tiger turns into basically Battle Cat from He-Man.
That's amazing.
I disagree. I think a tiger in a checkered suit is much cooler.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely cooler, but anything with a tiger is cool.
I remember we covered this in the Flashpoint episode. Captain Thunder gets disassembled during the final fight into the 6 kids, and Billy gets skewered by Wonder Woman.
Shit.
So that brings us to the New 52.
Oh, fuck. Everything's going to be ruined.
In the back of... I think it's following, that arc we read for the bonus episode.
Mm-hmm.
Following that, or shortly after that, there were backups in Justice League. So the first 20 pages would be Justice League, the next 8 pages would be a Shazam story.
Yeah.
Which is eventually collected into one big story, like one
Big thing.
trade.
Yeah.
And I reread this today. And the very first words that you read on the comic let you know that this...
It's gonna be fucking awful.
that you should just put it down because of how off the mark it's going to be. The very first words are Billy Batson is trouble.
He's a kid.
He's the kid. He's the nice kid.
He's like the kid Superman.
Yeah.
Like, he's a good egg.
So in the story, the wizard, who is not called Shazam, he's just called the Wizard. That's the Wizard.
He doesn't look like the wizard.
He's like an Aborigine now.
Okay.
Yeah, for diversity. There's like a count in the New 52. There's like a council of wizards,
Oh, right. Okay.
and he's the last one left.
No, he looks like a good guy.
He's been looking for someone to take over, and he's been abducting people left and right, looking for his new champion.
He abducted people this time.
Well, no, he, like the same way he abducted Billy. Like,
Oh, right,
he lets them go. But there's people all around the world who have the same story of like getting into an elevator or like walking into another room and suddenly they're in the Rock of Eternity.
Jesus, yeah.
And Dr. Savannah's been collecting these stories and this is what Dr. Savannah looks like in the New 52.
Okay.
You can't see his body there, but he's hench as fuck.
Does he still have like the little coat?
No, he's wearing a turtleneck.
Oh, okay.
And Dr. Savannah's going, this is too much to be a coincidence. This is exactly like the ancient story of the mystical hero Black Adam. So he wants to find Black Adam.
Yeah.
Billy Batson is in the system, like the foster care system.
Yeah.
And he tricks his way into the Vasquez family by pretending to be nice and friendly.
Aww.
And as soon as they leave, he turns out to... Like, it's really annoying. Like, it's such a cynical comic. Because when you meet Billy, he's Billy. He's the Billy you know.
It's Billy the kid. He's cute.
He meets the family and he's like, oh, well, I just like doing nice things and helping out and tidying the room and just...
Cream eggs.
Yeah, and then as soon as they leave, the panel is Billy going, idiots.
That's not Billy. I don't know Billy, and this isn't Billy.
In the comic, his social worker describes him as the most unpleasant boy I've ever had the unpleasure of knowing.
What?
And Billy replies, tell me something I don't know.
Who wrote this?
Jeff Johns.
Fucking Jeff.
So he moves in with the Vasquez family alongside 5 other kids. Eugene, Pedro and Darla.
Good names.
Alongside Freddie Freeman,
Yep.
and Mary Broomfield.
Yep.
The family's all really, really close. They do everything together, kind of creepily in a way. And like that just ain't Billy's scene, man.
No, it's not Billy.
It is a cool family in the case that Eugene is Asian, Pedro is, as far as I can tell, he's mixed race, Hispanic and black, and Darla's black. So it's bringing diversity into comics, which is so important. Even the Wizard.
Yeah, like it's important to do.
Yeah, it's very important. So while like on his first day at his new school, Billy's family, like some of his like new siblings, are harassed by bullies.
Oh.
And as much as he doesn't like his family, he hates bullies. So he sticks up for them and he gets in trouble. He nearly gets kicked out, but his new foster father sticks up for him. And then on the way out, the bullies are like the sons of like the richest man in Philadelphia, Mr. Briars.
Right.
And he's like a massive dick to Billy's dad as well.
I'm not surprised. He's a rich man.
Dr. Savannah finds the tomb of Black Adam, and as he attempts to open it up, like there's like magic lightning feedback.
Right.
And he's struck in the face with it.
No.
And he gains the ability to see magic.
Sweet. That's a good deal.
He works his way through Black Adam's tomb using the new magic site to find the way to Black Adam's like resting place. He sees the word Shazam, like he sees just carvings on the wall, but his magic eye translates it to Shazam. He says it, which frees Black Adam from his prison.
Like Black Adam's out. He's done.
And that's what Black Adam looks like in the New 52.
Yeah.
So, on like his second night in the foster house, Billy sneaks out and Freddy follows him to a zoo.
Okay.
Where he's snuck in and he's hanging out with a tiger named Tawny.
Yeah.
And they talk and he reveals to Freddy that the only memory he has of his family is going to this zoo and seeing this tiger.
Oh, that's really cute.
He's got a picture of his mum and dad and this tiger.
Oh, that's sad.
So Billy and Freddy bond over the night by pulling pranks on the bully boys. They get chased. Billy kind of hides Freddy away in a bush because Freddy still has the handicap.
Oh, right.
So he can't run from these bully boys.
They didn't get rid of that. That's good.
Billy's like leading them away from Freddy. He runs down to the subway station onto the car, which transforms, takes him to the Rock of Eternity.
Sweet.
The first thing Billy does when he meets the Wizard is accuse him of being a paedophile.
Fuck's sake.
This is how cynical this comic is.
Fuck's sake.
He says something about like, don't try and give me candy, you creep.
Oh, Jesus. Why?
The Wizard categorically states that Billy is not good-hearted. And then the comic clarifies that in the New 52, there is no one who is pure good.
Oh, okay.
But because Black Adam's back, he has no choice.
Yeah.
He needs someone to fight Black Adam. So, because Billy is the nearest available option, he becomes Shazam.
He's Shazam. Look at his hair. Is that hair? Or is his cape?
Yeah, he's got a little hood now.
Of course. But his like cape's not short anymore.
No.
He's not got an Elvis cape.
And he's Shazam now. There's no wizard. The wizard died. Died.
Rest in peace.
And he is Shazam.
For good.
Yeah. There is no character named Captain Marvel in the New 52.
No.
Which is probably the best move.
Yeah, probably for the best.
Save
the confusion.
As much as I look at Marvel, it was probably the best move. Billy heads back to Earth and finds Freddy, and he's still Shazam. And they get up to mischief like destroying cars.
That's not mischief, that's criminal activity.
Billy saves a woman from a mugger by backhanding him across the street through the window of a car, which they put a little speed bubble of the criminal going, "Ow!" But that dude died.
Yeah, like you know he dead.
Yeah. The woman asks Billy, "How could I ever possibly repay you?" So Billy's like, "Well, I'm a bit skint."
Yeah, like I'm poor. Give me money. I killed the guy for you.
Like getting money for his good deeds, like all heroes.
He got paid for killing a man. That's a whole job in itself.
Later, he uses his magic lightning to rob an ATM.
This dude's not good. Like, that's no superhero stuff. This guy should be in jail.
But as he's doing that, some robbers run out from the inside of the bank, and they literally run into him. He gets the credit for stopping them, but they just run into him, and he's like a brick wall.
Christ.
Black Adam heads to the Rock of Eternity, but finds he can't enter because only the champion can enter.
Okay.
So he thinks damn it, that fool old man got a new champion. He sets about freeing the 7 enemies of man.
Okay, right. Who are they?
You know, the 7 sins.
Yeah, they're like people.
Yeah, they're kind of like trapped in human vessels.
Okay, right. That makes sense.
So he frees the first one, Gluttony, who's like a big fat guy. Like, you know, like in 7.
Oh, yeah.
It's exactly like in 7.
7's cool.
So he unlocks the first one, then he sends Savannah to do all the others. He finds Billy and just beats the tar out of him.
Oh, God.
Billy gets scared, reverts to being Billy, and runs away to the zoo.
Oh.
Freddy and the other kids find Billy and like kind of give him a pep talk as Savannah brings the rest of the 7 sins to hook up with Black Adam. A woman, like a colleague, an ally of the wizard, shows up to Billy and the kids to tell him the story of Black Adam.
Yeah.
There was a kid in ancient Kandak who was kidnapped into slavery and witnessed the murder of his uncle. He was recruited by the Council of Wizards to be their champion, and Billy goes, Black Adam's a kid just like me.
Oh no.
Billy goes to Adam as Billy
Yeah.
to relate to him on a kid-to-kid level. Adam picks him up and reveals the true story. Both the uncle and the child were given the power of Shazam.
Yeah.
The uncle wanted to wreak vengeance and the child wanted to save everyone. So what do you think the uncle did?
Wreak vengeance. He killed the child. Stop killing children! There's so much murder in this. So much murder.
So Black Adam says to Billy, if that's what I did to my own nephew, imagine what I'll do to you.
Yeah.
Billy's new family show up and distract Black Adam enough time to give Billy enough time to turn into Shazam. But when he does, Adam takes the kids hostage.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the 7 sins of man possess Mr. Briars, the bully's dad, and turn him into like a big rampaging devil monster.
Christ.
And
Okay.
Savannah's body can't handle the power that he was granted, and he starts withering into the Savannah that we know.
Oh, right. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Black Adam, who has the kids, Billy's family, demands that Billy gives the power to him. Then Billy realises, wait, if I give him my power, can I give anyone my power?
Yeah, like who else can I give this
So
to?
he transfers it to the kids, and what happens?
Everyone's magic.
Yeah, so you got Eugene, Darla, Pedro, Mary, and Freddy.
That's cool.
And they all get different aspects of the Shazam powers.
Yeah.
And in kind of a dumb move, Eugene was holding an iPad when he got transformed, so now he can control electronics.
Oh god. Okay. Right.
So they fight off the possessed Mr. Briar while Billy takes on Black Adam. The fight takes him to the zoo where Tawny breaks out of his cage to attack Adam to save Billy. So Black Adam just like backhands the tiger.
Of course he does.
So Billy gives the tiger Shazam powers,
Yeah.
which just makes him into a bigger tiger.
It's just a giant magic tiger.
I'd rather see a tiger in a check suit.
Yeah, that's definitely cooler, but still, tigers.
So Billy challenges Adam to a fight without the power of Shazam,
Yeah.
saying, fight me like a man, like 1-on-1.
Yeah.
And he turns back into Billy. So Black Adam turns back into Teth Adam,
Yeah.
and Black Adam is immortal, so he can live for thousands of years, but Teth Adam isn't.
No.
So as soon as he turns back into Teth Adam, he ages like 1,000 years.
Oh,
And
wow,
dies.
that's gross.
He comes back. I'm not entirely sure how he comes back, but he does come back. And that's pretty much where we're up to now. There's a thing where Shazam sparks an international incident, which eventually results in Pandora's box being opened, where all the evil of the world comes out, and then, you know, the crime syndicate from Earth 3,
Yeah.
they come to Earth and take over, and then he joins the Justice League. He's currently on the Justice League.
That's cool. That's
So-
cool.
That's Shazam. So, thoughts on Shazam?
I liked Shazam until everyone started being murdered.
Do you see my point about where the turn is?
Yeah. Like, I like it. It seems like a good story. Like,
Mhm.
there's depth to it. But yeah, a lot of people die, and the New 52 sucks ass. It's
Yeah.
the worst, and I hate it.
Okay, do you want to know why you heard the name Black Adam?
Yes! Is he in Inhumans? Like, or something?
No,
like...
this is DC.
Okay.
They've announced the Shazam movie.
Okay.
You know when they announced all those DC movies?
Yeah.
They've not cast Shazam. They've cast one person.
Black Adam.
Cast Black Adam.
Who is it?
The Rock.
No! No! Why? Why is nothing sacred? Is it really? No, it's not.
It is.
Oh no!
It is.
It's not.
It is.
Why can't we have nice things?
I like The Rock as an actor.
Yeah, I like The Rock as an actor, but just some worlds should not collide.
Yeah. And I was talking a lot about this, the comic we just read, or the comic I read, when we were just talking about the new 52 Shazam on Twitter earlier. And someone said, I apologise, I don't have Twitter open at the moment, I can't remember who it was. Someone said it reads like a failed movie pitch. And I would not be surprised if the Shazam movie is exactly that comic. So before we wrap up, I want you to read one thing. It's that comic I was telling you about.
Just the one page.
It's one page, 6 panels. It's by Nate Cosby, who's a former editor at Marvel. He edits at Dynamite now.
Okay.
And an artist named Evan Doc Shaner.
Okay.
Both very, very talented people. I tweeted this earlier today saying, I just remembered about this one pager. It's perfect. I tagged Nick Cosby and Doc Shaner in it, and it's been retweeted a lot. People really like this. It's been retweeted 24 times with 34 favourites. So it's a very popular thing. So I want you to read this, and I've been talking for over an hour. By the time we cut this down, it's going to be about an hour 15 minutes. Maybe, that's a guess.
It's long.
Yeah. But I didn't need to say any of it, because all you need to know about Captain Marvel is these 6 panels. So I'm going to give it you to read now, and I want you to react.
Is it just this page?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He's just a kid. Like
That's all you need to know.
He's just a good kid who wants to do good things.
He's just a boy trying to be a good man.
Oh, that's really cute. That sums it up.
Yeah. And if you've not read that, it's the last image in the image gallery. It makes my heart sore. It's
adorable.
Perfect. That's Shazam.
Can we just send that one page to the guys who write New 52 and be like, just fuck yourselves?
I'm going to give you Thunderworld to read, because Thunderworld is set on Earth 5.
Okay.
Which is the new Earth S.
Okay.
So Earth 5 is the world where Captain Marvel is still Captain Marvel.
Everything is good.
Yeah, everything is good, everything is wholesome.
Nothing has been ruined.
Like, I'll show you some of the art from Thunderworld.
I'm aware that everyone loved it.
That's what Captain Marvel looks like in Thunderworld.
It just looks like Guy.
But look how bright and colourful it is.
It's nice and everything is clean.
Yeah.
Nothing's all complicated and dark and scary.
It's what I want.
It's nice.
So I'm going to give you this to read, and I think you'll really like it. I think you'll understand why I liked it so much. So, Captain Marvel, thumbs up or thumbs down?
Shazam, thumbs up or thumbs down?
Yeah.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
I enjoyed.
You enjoyed.
Even if there was a lot of murder.
Would you say it was a journey into misery?
The end fucking was.
It was a journey into misery, unfortunately.
Fucking New 52.
So that is Captain Marvel. Next week we are doing...
What are we doing next week? Captain Marvel?
Next week we are doing Captain Marvel, specifically Carol Danvers.
Yes.
The current Marvel, Captain Marvel. We will cover a bit of Marvel. We'll talk Marvel a little bit.
Yeah.
Cover a little bit of him, because her origin is based in his... She's a spin-off character.
Yeah.
But we won't cover it.
It's not the main bulk.
We're talking about Captain Marvel, aka Binary, aka Warbird, aka Ms. Marvel.
Cool.
So as we get out of here, let's do all those little wrap-up things. Any corrections, anything you feel we really missed, we really need to add to this specific episode? Because like I said, we missed a lot.
Probably a bunch. It seems like there was a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah. Please email us journeyintomisery@gmail.com. Doesn't have to be a correction. We love fan mail.
Fan mail's cool. I like fan mail.
It makes our day. If you want to let us know anything, you can email us there. We're on iTunes. You want to rate, review, subscribe. Or else we're on Stitcher, where I believe they have a similar system.
No idea.
I don't know.
Question mark.
we have a Patreon.
We do have a Patreon.
Next week's episode is actually a Patreon episode.
It is.
Last week's episode is a Patreon episode. The week after next week's episode is a Patreon episode.
There's a whole bunch of Patreon stuff going on.
After we're doing Captain Marvel, which is Patreon.
Yes.
We're doing Loki, which is Patreon.
Yeah.
Then after that, we have no more Patreon slots.
Oh no.
As in, we have space.
There's space. Please fill the space.
So if you're interested in supporting the show, you can donate to the Patreon at the $5 level and suggest something for us to cover.
Ruin my week.
Yeah.
Or make my week.
We're also doing a bonus episode this month at the $10 level. We get a bonus episode every month before everyone else.
I don't know what that's going to be.
I have some ideas.
Okay.
There's also just the $1 level, we'll give you a shout out of the show. $2 level, behind the scenes stuff. You get to see my show notes, you get to see Helena's notes whenever she makes them.
Oh god, my terrible, terrible notes just shouting about Batman's presence.
So please check out the Patreon, and if you can, please donate. What else? Is that everything? KingImpulse.com?
Everything's on there.
Everything's on there. The image gallery is on KingImpulse.com. Please check that out. And that's everything. So before we get out of here, I've been Kieran Shiak. I am at King Impulse on Twitter.
I'm Helena Hart. I'm at HU.
This has been my journey into misery.
It wasn't that bad.
No, because it just gets worse. It just keeps getting worse and worse. And
It's
then
just-
it's never going to be good again.
It's everything's great and then everything is terrible and it's never gonna be good again.
The DC Comics story.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
It wasn't that bad.